What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 here for another video review. This time it's not Hot Toys but a Breaking Bad Heisenberg from Threezero. First time that I'm reviewing a Threezero product. I know they've been out for quite some time now. They had specifically, I'm looking forward to their Walking Dead line. They're gonna release Rick Grimes in a few months, but this one I'm really happy with how it turned out, and their price is really good as well. You know, not Hot Toys quality as of yet, but they are licensed, so I'm really happy with that. They're not one of those bootleg products, which I don't mind, to be quite honest with you. But it's just refreshing somebody take on the 1/6 a game outside of Hot Toys, because those guys need some competition, and if they they just need a little tweaks here and there. As you can see from the box, their box is actually better than Hot Toys. So you can see this slip-on cover. It's pretty unique. You know, you have that Heisenberg picture on the front. It's transparent, and inside you can see the actual figure itself. And for the price that you can get this for, comparable to any Hot Toys product, it's actually pretty reasonable. And they should just cost this much. I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a toy. They're collectibles, but Hot Toys is just, mass producing this stuff. It's not even collectible anymore, and they're charging insane amount of money. And in the back it says Breaking Bad right there. And like I said, even on the presentation, you might feel that they do not come with the shipper boxes, which is fine. If you buy this at Big Bad Toy Store, you should be okay to always double box stuff anyway. But honestly, if you're saving $50, I mean, what's the Hot Toys cheapest figures by far? Nowadays, this year at least, it's Quicksilver for $200. I bought this guy for $129. And it's in the comic shop. But I bought it through eBay, which is not bad. But here's one of my concerns: the hands. Look at them. It's not a big deal. It's hands. You can pick up one of Hot Toys' hands because they don't even match his neck, the color, and you can see the detail is not really there. See, it is hand. It does work, but they could have done better. You see this kind of hands from Hot Toys. Even there, I do have the not Scarecrow, the Two-Face, and it kind of reminds me of this kind of hands when Hot Toys was still starting. They were in the beginning phase, but even then, it's still a lot better than this hand, so there's no excuse for that whatsoever. And he comes with a stack of money. Nicely done, nicely printed right there. It's a bunch of hundreds. Pretty similar to Hot Toy Standard, I guess. I didn't really pay that much attention, but it's just for diorama. You just stack them together, and it looks good. I know the Joker comes with this, but it's a little bit modified. He does come with a gun. Looks like an M9 Beretta. It doesn't have any articulation points in it, but at the same time, lately Hot Toys have eliminated that. The sliding stock. You can take off the magazine, which is kind of standard for all guns anyway. But yeah, Hot Toys has deviated from that. I'm not gonna lie to you, so I'm not gonna give them a minus as far as that is concerned, because like I said, the price difference is quite huge. $129 for a main character. He's not like he's Quicksilver or anything, but compared to Quicksilver, obviously Quicksilver has a better definition. Quality is a little bit better, but he's not even a main character, and he's $80 more from what I bought this for, including the shipping, because this was shipped. I bought it $129. One of the negative of the figures as well is the glasses. It does have they used an actual, I guess, glass, and it gives this magnifying effect. It's not as bad as mine. Some are clouded. I've seen some reviews where the glass is a bit clouded, but mine's not. But it still gives you that magnifying effect, which is I don't like. And then he comes with his sunglasses. I'm not sure what you call them, but it's pretty accurate from what he wore, like Heisenberg. And if you are in the game for quite some time now, knowing about the customs, these two items go for a lot. This hat. They have a call Entropy or something like that. I don't know if that's, I don't know how much they go for, but they go for a lot of money. Back in the day when this wasn't released, I'm guessing they even go as high as $50, maybe $80, and comes with the glasses and all that stuff. But yeah, totally not worth it. Just pick this figure up and call it a day. It's a awesome figure, as you can see from the shoes. He's wearing khakis. So you know, this is one of the things. If you are creating a custom Walter White, if you buy all these materials, like his shirt, his pants, back in the day when you're customizing, it'll run you around just for the outfit itself, maybe around $200. You know, some customizers are selling them for that much. With this jacket, you can probably improvise and use the Dark Knight, what's his name, John Blake. Look at those hands, it just really annoys me. But the pants, you know, they're fairly accurate. They're not the best 1/6 figure that I've seen, but I love the series. That's why I picked this up, and probably gonna hold on to this forever. I don't need a second Walter White. You know, he's not. I love the TV show. I love the character, but he's not like Batman, who you need. At least in my case, I need to have different outfits, or you know, his different costumes. I know there is the Wolfman Chem Lab teacher or something like that, where he is in the lab suit, which is also awesome. You know, especially if you're a big fan of the TV show, but I just don't see the need for it. I mean, Walter White is Walter White. He's dressed up as a civilian, so I don't think it's gonna make an impact. Now, I've seen the prototype of Jesse, and I'm not a big fan of it, so I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. It depends on the price, I guess, but initially it looks like they are the same price as Walter White, which is a little absurd if you ask me, because I mean, he's the main guy, and I mean, I guess you can make the argument that, you know, he's the main character as well. But as far as the head sculpt, I think it's spot on. It looks good. Obviously, it's not better than Hot Toys. I'm pretty sure if Hot Toys try to tackle him, it'll be a lot better. But for the price that I got this for, you can't really complain. Plus, it's a pretty strong head sculpt, you know, and the eyes. You know, the paintwork could be a lot better, and a lot of people are complaining about the seam on his head, which he does have a seam on his head, but it doesn't really bother me that much. And you know, moving around here, and I'm sure over time Threezero is gonna figure it out, and they're gonna be a lot better. But there's custom heads back in the day, which runs for $300, $150. I mean, it's ridiculous. But right now, if you can get this figure for, let's say, max $150, I think they go for $154 on Sideshow. But there's Big Bad Toy Store who offers this for like $134.99, I believe, and then you pay a little bit of shipping. So it's still pretty reasonable if you ask me, and this is a really strong head sculpt right here. It looks Walter White. You cannot mistake him for like Professor X. You know, he has several looks that you can pull off like that. It's just Walter White. Yeah, you can buy some. Yeah, it kind of looks funny now because of the glasses. It could have been better. They could have used just a regular glass, or I don't know, something that doesn't magnify his eyes. The paint apps on the eyes is not the best to begin with, and you magnify them, so it creates this weird look. It should have been just clear. Just, you know, I mean, you can buy custom glasses, but I won't, because most likely I'm gonna use this look, the Heisenberg look, which is pretty awesome. That's where he's most of a badass. Can't forget that scene where, you know, he showed up in Tuco's you know, hideout and start being a badass. Yeah, and you can put this hat on, and yeah, pretty awesome. You know, pretty badass right there if you ask me. I'm not sure if over time this would have any effects whatsoever leaving the hat on, because as you know, for some figures there's gonna be some staining. I guess it depends on what country you live in. If it's kind of humid, then it would kind of stain and leave a mark on your figure. In this case, I don't know. You know, only time will tell. But I'm gonna take it on and off, you know, just to be on the safe side. And I'm gonna throw in a couple of poses, you know, a bunch of poses, maybe 3 poses. And I mean, there's really not much that you can do with Walter White, with a character like this, a civilian. And that's my, I wouldn't say rule, but if a figure has a mask like Black Panther, you don't really need to sculpt the face. And I'm not applying to this figure. I'm gonna get to my point. They should be a lot, you know, not a lot, but you know, lesser than price-wise than, let's say, Captain America, where you need to have a license on his face, obviously, and it's a bit harder to sculpt, let's say, Chris Evans' likeness than Black Panther. Also, if the costume doesn't really require that much thought process, like on this case, like with Walter White, it's a civilian clothes. You know, you can, if you get one on eBay, although it's not the exact same replica of what Walter White wore, at the end of the day, it's a shirt, pants, and pair of shoes. You know, that's it. You know, you don't really need to go out of your way to create, you know, intricate stitching or, you know, design patterns like Captain America, where it's not. It's just civilian clothing. It just happens to be accurate than what he was wearing. So I think the price is just right for this figure. One, obviously you want it to be lower. Ideally you want it to be at $100, but comparing it to Hot Toys, even though it's a lower quality, I would highly recommend this one. But yeah, one of those poses that you can pull off is him being Heisenberg, pointing the gun at you, being a badass. And I hope they continue with this line, with the Breaking Bad line, and also they gotta capitalize on the Walking Dead line, even though they're a little bit late, I believe. Walking Dead is slowly going into that phase where I feel like they're just, you know, it's not being interesting anymore. Breaking Bad went to that point, I think, at the last season, where it's just kind of dragging. But, you know, I hope they do compete with Hot Toys. I honestly do hope that's the case, because somebody monopolizing, let's say, the 1/6, which is what Hot Toys is doing, their only competition right now, I would say, is Enterbay. But Enterbay mostly does NBA figures these days, not really on the movie side, which is great, don't get me wrong, but they need some stiff competition, and hopefully they do some Marvel stuffs as well down the line. It's just gonna be better for consumers down the line. You don't want like somebody monopolizing that, you know, that 1/6 scale community. Now that they're getting into the game, I just hope that they just improve. You know, even if they don't improve, I can live with this kind of figure. You know, I don't need perfection per se. If I only have to spend $130, I don't. You know, if you can give me a Captain America with the same quality as this Heisenberg, and I'll be fine. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, I'll lay down all his stuff. He doesn't even come with a stand, just to let you know. So you gotta buy one of those generic stands from eBay. It's like $2.99, not a big deal. But for the price that you're getting him for, and he's not a perfect figure, don't get me wrong. There's a handful of imperfections. If you can live with it, it's a pretty good purchase. You know, even if you get it for the full price of $154 shipped, for example, if you get it from Big Bad, highly recommended figure, especially if you're a big fan of the show. Are they gonna come up with new versions? Perhaps, you know, it depends on what versions you want. But right now, I mean, you can't go wrong with Heisenberg, man. I mean, if you're a big fan of the, like I said, of the TV show, he's one of the badass characters, one of the best TV shows of all time. So I got it for $129. If you go to an eBay, you can probably get it for less. I don't know, I've seen auctions, you know, finishing up at $110, but you know, it was new, free shipping, $129.99. Can't beat that. So I was like, you know what, I'll go on for this. And then I get triple, you know, there was a promotion, triple eBay bucks, or maybe more than that. I think it's 5x eBay bucks. So just watch out for those promotions and snag one. You know, so it'll come out to around $100 if you factor in the reward. So, all right, thank you for watching, guys. Until